In June of 1872, a young Jose Rizal, only 11 years old, was sent by his father, Don Francisco, to the Ateneo Municipal, formerly known as Escuela Pia. At that time, Ateneo was managed by the Jesuits and considered one of the finest schools for boys in Manila. The school was known for its rigid discipline, religious instruction, and its unique system of competition. Students were divided into two groups: the Roman Empire, made up of borders, and the Carthaginian Empire, made up of 10 borders. Within each empire, boys vied for ranks such as tribune, centurion, and the highest of all, emperor. When Rizal first entered, he was placed at the very bottom of the class. Yet within just 1 month, his diligence and brilliance lifted him to the rank of emperor, earning him a religious picture as his first academic prize. Rizal quickly distinguished himself in his first year. He achieved excellent marks in the following years. He collected medals and honors, excelling not just in academics but also in the arts and physical training. He cultivated his skills in poetry, painting, and sculpture under the guidance of teachers like Don Agustin Saiz and Romualdo de Jesus. He even carved an image of the Virgin Mary from baticuling wood with nothing but his pocket knife. Impressed his Jesuit mentors asked him to carve an image of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, which was displayed at the Ateneo dormitory for many years afterward. But Rizal was not just a quiet scholar. He joined the Marian congregation, the Academy of Spanish Literature, and the Academy of Natural Science. He also took fencing and gymnastics, determined to build his moral frame and improve his physical skills. Stories tell that after graduation, he even tested his swordsmanship against the town's best fencer, a glimpse of his courage and discipline beyond the classroom. On March 23, 1877, at the age of 16, Rizal graduated from Ateneo with a degree of Bachelor in Artes. He was one of only 9 students declared sobresaliente outstanding. That same year, Rizal began a new chapter that he enrolled at the University of Santo Tomas, Asia's oldest university, and took up philosophy and letters. His family encouraged this path while he was still uncertain about his profession. At UST, he impressed professors and classmates alike with his intellect, but he also spent hours in libraries and continued to write poetry and essays, a habit that kept his mind sharp and his imagination alive. In 1878, he made a life-changing decision, seeing his mother, Doña Teodora Alonso, slowly losing her eyesight. Rizal shifted his studies to medicine. He was determined to one day cure her. At the same time, he continued his vocational course in land surveying at Ateneo. At just 17, he passed the surveyor's examination, though the official license was not granted until 1881 when he reached the age of majority. Balancing 2 courses was a mark of his discipline, but life at UST was far from easy. Rizal began to feel the sting of discrimination. Filipino students, no matter how bright, were often belittled by Spanish professors who favored their own. Rizal himself was not spared, enduring humiliation despite his brilliance. Still, he persevered. By 1879, he immersed himself in anatomy, pathology, and physiology, while also nurturing his love for literature and the arts. In 1880, he made history. His poem, A la Juventud Filipina, or to the Filipino youth, won first prize in a contest sponsored by the Liceo Artístico Literario de Manila, the first time a Filipino had ever received such an honor. He followed this with El Consejo de los Dioses, another award-winning piece. These triumphs revealed his rising stature as both writer and nationalist. Yet, even as his reputation grew, the prejudice at UST persisted. By 1881, after 4 years of enduring unfair treatment, Rizal's frustration had reached their peak. He recognized that not only discrimination but also the obsolete and repressive methods of teaching in UST stifled true learning. And so, in 1882, Rizal made a fateful choice. With the support of his brother Paciano, he secretly left for Spain to pursue medical studies at the Universidad Central de Madrid. This bold step marked a turning point in his life. His journey abroad would not only broaden his education, but also awaken a clear vision of reform, justice, and freedom for his people. From the strict halls of Ateneo to the discriminatory classroom of UST, Rizal's years of education in Manila shaped both his intellect and his character. They nurtured his talents, exposed him to injustice, and planted the seeds of nationalism that would later define him as the hero of a nation.
Ang buhay ni Jose Rizal sa ibang bansa, lalo na sa Europa, ay napakahalaga sa kanyang paghubog bilang pambansang bayani. Nagsimula ang kanyang paglalakbay noong 1882 nang lihim siyang umalis ng Pilipinas upang ipagpatuloy ang kanyang pag-aaral. Sa edad na 21, naglayag si Rizal papuntang Espanya, dala ang pangarap na maging manggagamot at ang pag-asang matuto ng kaalaman na balang araw ay makakatulong sa kanyang bayan. Nag-aral siya sa Universidad Central de Madrid kung saan kumuha siya ng medisina at filosofiya. Ang kanyang pagkahilig sa pag-aaral ay pambihira. Hindi lamang siya nagtuon sa medisina, kundi sinikap din niya matutunan ang agham, sining at iba't ibang larangan ng kaalaman. Sa Madrid, nasilayan niya ang mga liberal at makabagong ideya na nagturo sa kanya na mag-isip ng kritikal tungkol sa kolonyalismo, karapatang pantao at kalayaan. Hindi lamang sa Espanya nag-aral si Rizal, naglakbay din siya sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Europa tulad ng Paris, Berlin, Heidelberg at Leipzig. Sa Alemanya, pinalalim niya ang kanyang kaalaman sa medisina, lalo na sa ophthalmolohiya dahil nais niya magamot ang kanyang paningin ng kanyang ina. Nagsanay siya sa ilalim ng mga kilalang doktor tulad ni Dr. Otto Becker. Nagpakita ng kanyang dedikasyon hindi lamang sa pamilya kundi pati na rin sa kapakanan ng kanyang bayan. Pinagkaloob ng Europa kay Rizal ang isang bagay na hindi makikita noon sa Pilipinas, ang kalayaan sa kaisipan. Nakihalubilo siya sa mga iskolar, reformista, at kapwa Pilipino sa ibayong dagat. Sa mga talakayan at pagbabasa, higit siyang namulat sa mga pang-aabuso at kawalang katarungan sa ilalim ng pamahalaang Espanyol. Lalong tumibay ang kanyang damdaming makabayan at ang hangarin na baguhin ang kalagayan ng bansa. Dito rin sa Europa, isinulat ni Rizal ang kanyang dalawang dakilang nobela, Noli Me Tangere at El Filibusterismo. Sa mga akdang ito, inilahad niya ang katiwalian ng mga praile, pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan at paghihirap ng mga Pilipino. Bagamat isinulat sa ibang bayan, ang mga nobelang ito ay naging sandata para gisingin ang diwa ng kanyang mga kababayan. Ngunit ang buhay ni Rizal sa ibang bansa ay hindi lamang ukol sa akademya at pagsusulat. Isinabuhay niya ang disiplina, namuhay ng simple at niyakap ang kultura ng mga bansang kanyang binisita. Natuto siya ng iba't ibang wika, gumuhit, sumulat ng tula at mas pinahalagahan ang sining at agham. Ang mga karanasang ito ang nagpatibay sa kanya bilang isang ganap na tao, hindi lamang matalino kundi inspirasyon din para sa iba. Nang siya ay bumalik sa Pilipinas, hindi na lamang siya isang doktor at manunulat. Siya ay naging isang taong handa, taglayang kaalaman, bisyon, at matinding pagmamahal sa bayan. Ang kanyang mga taon sa Europa ang nagbigay sa kanya ng tapang at kasangkapan upang mamuno tungo sa pagbabago. Sa huli, tinuro ng kanyang mataas na edukasyon at pamumuhay sa Europa na ang edukasyon ay hindi lamang para sa pansariling tagumpay. kapag ito'y ginabayan ng pagmamahal sa bayan, ito ay nagiging makapangyarihang sandata para sa kalayaan, reforma at dangal ng bansa.
In 1882, Jose Rizal, weary of the discrimination and oppression he endured at the University of Santo Tomas, made a life-changing decision. On May 3rd of that year, with the quiet support of family, friends, and even his sweet mentors, he secretly left the Philippines. His destination, Spain. His mission is not only to complete his education, but also to broaden his understanding of the world and the politics that shaped it. Jose Rizal's travels, friendships, and struggles in Europe. His voyage was long and filled with discovery. He first stopped at Singapore before continuing on board the steamship Gemna through Punta de Gales, Colombo, and Aden. He passed through the historic Suez Canal and admired the Italian city of Naples before finally arriving in Marseilles, France. From there, he took an express train to Barcelona, and after some months, he journeyed onward to Madrid, where a new chapter of his life would begin. On September 16, 1882, Rizal met Consuelo Ortiga y Rey, the daughter of Don Pablo Ortiga, a Spanish liberal and former mayor of Manila. Consuelo later wrote in her diary that on the first night they met, Rizal spoke with her the whole evening, impressing her with his charms and intellect. On November 3, 1882, Rizal formally enrolled in the Universidad Central de Madrid. He pursued both medicine and philosophy and letters. In a letter dated February 13, 1883, he informed his brother Pasiano that he had already begun meeting other Filipinos in Madrid. But the years ahead would not always be easy. In 1884, after his family back home suffered financial difficulty, Rizal himself struggled. One June morning that year, he went to class without having eaten, yet still managed to win a gold medal in a contest. That same evening, he attended a dinner party honoring Filipino painters Juan Luna and Felix Resurrección Hidalgo. There, Rizal delivered his daring and liberal brindis speech, praising the triumph of his fellow countrymen. His bold words resonated across the Filipino community in Spain, but also caused worry for his mother back home. By 1885, Rizal had successfully completed his 2 courses in Madrid. He then traveled to Paris, where from 1885 to February 1886, he trained as an assistant under the famous ophthalmologist Dr. Louis de Weckert. On February 3, 1886, Rizal left Paris for Heidelberg, Germany. There, he attended lectures at the University of Heidelberg, sharpening his specializations in ophthalmology. He later spent 3 months in the village of Wilhelmsfeld, staying at the home of Pastor Karl Ulmer. During this period, Rizal began corresponding with Ferdinand Blumentritt, an Australian scholar, after sending him a bilingual copy of Arithmetica in Tagalog and Spanish. He next traveled to Leipzig, where he attended more university lectures before reaching Dresden. There, he befriended Dr. Adolf Meyer, director of the Anthropological and Ethnological Museum, who showed Rizal artifacts that had been excavated from the Philippines. In November 1886, Rizal finally reached Berlin. The city offered him endless opportunities to expand his knowledge. He joined scientific societies, learned new languages, and befriended renowned intellectuals. On February 21, 1887, Rizal completed his first novel, Noli Me Tangere, which was published the following March. Through hardships and brilliance, Jose Rizal's education in Europe was more than academic. It was the foundation of his vision for a free Philippines.
After publishing Noli Me Tangere in 1887, Rizal set out on what became known as his Grand Europe Tour. He wasn't alone. His dear friend Maximo Viola joined him. Viola had even helped finance the novel's printing. Once Rizal was able to repay him, the two decided why not explore Europe together. On May 11, 1887, they left Berlin for Dresden, where they mired at the Grand Flora exploration. But the highlight came when they visited Les Mérites, Bohemia, to finally meet Professor Ferdinand Blumentritt. Imagine the moment. Lumentritt, waiting at a train station, recognizing Rizal from just a princess sketch, he warmly embraced Rizal, welcomed him into his home, and even introduced him to famous European scientists like Dr. Carlos Cepelac and Professor Robert Klusak. They continued their travels to Prague, where they visited the tomb of Copernicus, to Vienna, where they cruised along the Danube River, to Munich, where they tasted the finest German beer, and in Nuremberg, where they saw the terrifying torture machines of the Catholic Inquisition. In Ulm, they climbed Germany's tallest cathedral, and in Switzerland, they toured Schaffhausen before reaching Geneva. But amidst the beauty of Europe, Rizal also felt sorrow. In Madrid, Filipino Igorots were cruelly displayed in an exhibition treated like curiosities placed beside animals. One woman even died of pneumonia. This injustice cut deeply into Rizal's heart. After parting with Viola, on June 19, 1887, Rizal celebrated his 26th birthday with Viola. Just days later, they parted ways. Viola returned to Barcelona while Rizal pressed on to Italy, exploring Turin, Milan, Venice, and Florence. Despite many warnings, Rizal was determined to return home. On July 3, 1887, he boarded the steamer Gemena from Marseilles. The journey took him through the Suez Canal, past Saigon, and finally near midnight of August 5, he arrived in Manila. After 5 years abroad, Rizal reunited with his family in Calamba on August 8. Now imagine the joy in their hearts. He even opened a small clinic where people called him Dr. Ultiman, mistaking him for a German doctor. But his homecoming did not last. His noble Noli Me Tangere had angered the friars. He became a target, and so on. February 16, 1888, Rizal made the painful decision to leave the Philippines once again.